All right, welcome back, Trey and Maura, to Mine Stock Talk. Now, since your last appearance, Dryden Gold has been making significant headlines with impressive drill results, new discoveries, and a major financing round, which gets us a little excited over here. So let's dig right into what's been happening and what it means for the retail shareholder. So, Maura, it looks like you've really struck gold with the Allura Gold system with visible gold grades and an absolutely what we'll call awesome results. Can you dig into what you've discovered and why this development is such a mother lode?
It's so exciting that we have not only the shear zone system that we started chasing at the beginning of this year, but now we're seeing all of these stacked structures in the hanging wall and footwall of the Allura Gold system, which just gives us so much more potential for ounces in a small footprint. And that's really great. And these our key and load gold systems, their one downfall is that they can be narrow, so they can be low tonnage, but to have all of these stacked structures in very close proximity to each other, it's really telling a different story, which is that we have a lot of zones in a close area, which is great for when we go to mine this in the future, or whoever mines it in the future.
Wow, that's really something. So, Trey, welcome back. And we know you're juggling more zones than a prospector with ADHD. Jubilee, Pearl, Sheridan, Hindman. How are you mining your priorities, and what vision do you have for going forward with the opportunity, especially now that you've closed some deals?
Well, I'm qualified to speak on this subject now because I just got back from site last week, and it's this property, we talk about it a lot. I mean, it's such a large property, 70,000 hectares, and it's so underexplored. But the beauty is that, a lot of it, the access is so good with the logging roads and the clear cutting that's gone on up there. Hinman, for example, where we're channel sampling, is in about an hour out of Dryden to the east and right on the Trans-Canada Highway. We're able to drive on these logging roads, and the structures are just right there off the road. And there's the big trees are gone in a lot of these areas, and you can see the channel sampling and right really literally from the road that they're doing. It's a very big footprint out there at Hinman. We're very excited. It's not the high grade kind of target that we've been preaching. It would probably be more of a low grade, but it's a big footprint and could be very exciting. So we're really anxious to see that. Sheridan at the other end of the property. Now you're talking about, it's probably, I bet it's 100 kilometers at least from between Hinman to Dryden and then down to Sheridan. But again, Sheridan, you drive down a logging road, again, area that was clear cut a little longer ago, but and the drill rigs and the structures, again, you see it right from the road. I mean, both these places, you can literally drive a Volkswagen Bug in there if you wanted. It's access so good. Now, Gold Rock, that area is a bit more challenging, right? It's still pretty dense. So our trip in there was on four-wheelers and side-by-sides. It was a little muddy because of we got some rain at night. We really didn't get rained on too much, but again, back in that Allura, Laurentian, seeing some of the old workings. I'll show you. I actually brought home a little souvenir that what this is one of the balls out of the old Big Master ball mill. So on my shelf here with my drill core and drill bits and stuff that I've picked up along the way. So very exciting. Look, it's a lot, but it's not. And our team has such a good handle. Maura and Anna have put together such a good plan of testing these areas, not spending too much time, using outside groups like Fladgate doing the channel sampling, so that then we're really focused on that drill bit. And of course, we did get a few first pass holes into Sheridan, so we're looking for those. But meanwhile, of course, keeping about 50%, maybe 50, 60% of our effort in that Gold Rock target area and in the Gold Rock camp. So it's a great balanced effort to not only make discoveries, but show the district scale potential of the property.
Maura, what do you think there'd be the next drill results coming out, or do you have a feel for that at this time? And I'm sure the assay labs are quite busy.
Yeah, summer is always a busier time for the assay labs, but we've gotten a lot of results back actually during the week last week. So my team and I are just kind of getting through them, and I think we'll have a news release out shortly. It's been nice to be able to continuously drill, analyze our data, and adjust the drill program. So as Trey mentioned, we kind of did a small test program on Sheridan. We want to see those back before we rejig that plan. So we did 3 holes there, and we've been testing extensions on the Gold Rock system, specifically the Allura Gold system between Pearl and Laurentian and Pearl and Jubilee.
Just talk about this really great news that came out this morning about your closed deal. And so we want to know a little bit more about the Sentara Gold partnership and the financing. So Trey, you've upsized your financing nearly 8 million. Is that the correct number? Did I get that right?
Just under 7.8, yes.
Okay. So you've done that with Sentara Gold, doubling down to maintain about 9.9% stake. So that's obviously what we call putting their money where your ore is. What does this strategic partnership in your back pocket mean for Dryden's treasury?
Well, let me clarify, Robin, is that Sentara put in about, to keep their position, they put in about 650,000 front end. And we did that through charity flow through. So we got about, I think, total on the Sentara investment, about 980,000. So that was really a top off. That's the 0.8 about of the 7.8. The other 7 really came from big institutional interest. Our largest shareholder, 𝐃𝐑𝐘𝐃𝐄 Capital, who has been kind of sitting on the fence. We saw him earlier this spring out in Vancouver, and he said, "Okay, we need more money here," and so he was the lead order. But we got a nice order from Sprott, a new investor in there, and then several other new institutions that came in. It was really, I think total probably maybe 15 names. So the financing went very, very well, and Sentara, having them. When people ask me at a show or something, especially a retail investor will come up and say, "Well, there's all these exploration companies here. How do you differentiate? How do you tell?" I think that one thing, well, I don't think it's the absolute you have to have, but if you've got a good project in this market, the major companies and mid-tier producers are making significant investments and multiple investments. It's across the board. It's all the companies. So if you have a project that has the scale that they're looking for, like we do, a district play, and the potential, then if you don't have a strategic investment, I kind of question why. The first question I'd ask is why not? But yeah, we're very happy with Sentara. It's a great company. We also, of course, have Alamos in our back pocket there with about, after this financing, they're down to about a little over 12%, but watching us very closely as well. And the thing with the strategic partnerships is once you have that, and especially in our case with both Sentara and Alamos in there, everybody else is now watching. Barrick's been out to site with knowing for us that 90% of the time, the exit strategy for an exploration company is through M&A. So having that lined up and having the producing companies watching us and watching the progress is very important, because there's nothing that creates shareholder value better than a bidding war.
Great point that you raise.
Totally. And so M&A, of course, matters. And as retail investors who we represent, that makes a lot of sense. So with this financing, though, is there enough capital around to continue the drilling program for quite a while? And I guess that would lead to big players watching.
Absolutely. We are looking forward to being able to continue to drill about a little over 20,000 meters. Additionally, that should take us into the fall and through kind of halfway through next year, if we kind of keep the same pace that we have been. what's great is, and Trey touched on this a little bit, we've been able to build up our own team now. So we have a well-established site here in Dryden. We've got a great course shack and office, and we've been attracting some great talent to stay here in the company and work with us. So it really allows for us to have that consistency on each program, and each drill program is really well thought out. So I'm excited about that. It makes things run a little smoother. It gives me less gray hairs, which is nice. And I'm really excited about what we'll be able to test. I mean, we've just started to prepare to come up and test Mud Lake, which is the target that's about 2 kilometers northeast of Gold Rock. So really looking at expansion, we want to show how big Gold Rock can be. You know, I often get asked, why aren't you doing a resource right now? And it's because it'd be so premature. We're just scraping the surface of what this camp could look like, and what we could have here. So I really want to get through some of the blue sky before we go and kind of get into that more typical resource machine, so to speak.
When you're drilling and on the property this major and it's close to incredible infrastructure, how deep down have you drilled?
We're still drilling quite shallow. It just makes a lot of sense to be able to test more and get kind of more shots on goal, as I like to say, so that we can have more chances with less meters. So right now the drill holes are mostly shallow. The deepest we've really tested about 350 meters true depth, but most of our drilling is around 100, because that way we can show a larger footprint with less meters and kind of get more value for our shareholders. Our drilling costs are also incredibly low with that kind of drilling approach. We have a great partnership with Rodman Drilling. They're very efficient. They really care about the environmental standards that we've set up and hold ourselves to, as well as the safety standards. So, you know, I feel really confident with that, and we're able to get a lot of bang for our buck.
Going over to talking about a little bit on the technical developments and what the future outlook is with the geology, the understanding of the evolution of all that kind of stuff. So your team has been really getting down to the bedrock basics with oriented core and structural analysis to crack the code. How is this rock solid technological work helping you strike it rich with better targeting, and what geological gems should investors expect from this approach?
It's been very helpful for us, because the highest grade mineralization is always the trickiest. So we've had good luck with looking at from the start, our hypothesis on the controls of the overall mineralization, so the intersection of structures. So we've had Ben Friedman from the Colorado School of Mines out, and we partnered up with another structural geologist to kind of do a very fine detail review of all the structural data we've been collecting, kind of giving our team tips on how to make that data really work for us, because you can collect a lot of it and it's hard to sift through what it means. So having that in our back pockets is quite good. So they're looking at the Allura Gold system and Big Master to try to unlock why the highest grade, you know, the things over 30 gram meters, why they're there and how we can better predict them, because they seem to have a different orientation than the overall, you know, zones of mineralization. So if you've been watching our long section, you'll see I've started to do contoured long section of the highest grade. As we keep working with these structural geologists, we're hoping we'll be able to predict that better and better, because it seems to be even more complex defolding and intersections where we're getting that. So those shapes are a bit weird, but we're trying to be able to predict that within these high grade shoots. And I think that really unlocks the way we can move forward and find even more high grade, not just, you know, medium high grade, really high grade, like, you know, like what we intersected earlier this year.
Amazing. Trey, when you look ahead to the rest of this year and then, of course, into a bit of next year, what kind of news or nuggets of ideas and that will we hear from the company, do you think, that the retail investors should be thinking about? What's going to keep this story drilling ahead?
First of all, of course, what we've been held up here a bit with the financing as far as the current drill program. So let me just put it completely into perspective. Current program, which was fully funded, did all the field work. That's the Hinman channel sampling, the mapping. We're doing a property-wide soil till program, which is going to be very important of looking again and outlining the whole property for the strategic partners. We've drilled a little over 10,000 of the 15,000 meter program, which was fully funded. So that money is still there, and we'll finish that. of that five, there's maybe 4,000 left to drill and probably 4,000 left to report that's in the lab and backed up and stuff. So quite a bit of drilling there. And then on top of that, this new money will go. So, in the words of tariff monger in chief, drill baby drill. We are that drill bit is going to be turning. We are adding on to our facility there. We did a groundbreaking, and we'll have to send you a picture of Maura cutting the ribbon. And so we're adding another core shack so that we can actually, because that logging of the core is our bottleneck into some ways, and you have to lay all that core out, the whole hole, to really evaluate it. So, will allow us the growth if we want to add more people and add a second drill crew. Right now, we've got 2 drill rigs on the property, but only 1 crew. So they're moving back and forth from Sheridan. Depending on what we see in the first pass to Sheridan, we may move that rig up to Mud Lake. And then just the crew is moving back and forth. And that's at this point, what we can handle on the ground as far as getting it logged and cut. But we're expanding there. And going back on your question for Maura, I was just so impressed with the team there and the work they're doing and figuring out these structures and we have and Maura spoke about her getting gray hair. She does not have a gray hair on her head, nor is there a gray hair on the entire team because she's senior to everybody there. I'm thinking of changing the name to Gen Z Mining because they are so young but so smart and so motivated, and Maura's and Anna have just put together a great team. The work environment in the area there. The work environment is so good that most of the people are moving to Dryden. Our exploration manager is moving to Dryden. We just hired a young girl, a new graduate from Ottawa, and she's moved there. So we're really, and that's very important. We don't spend a lot of time with these people, having to commute back and forth, and we've even focused on more on people from Winnipeg and Thunder Bay to even keep that, even when they do have to commute, they're not going a long ways away. So great team. I mean, we've got a lot of growth ahead of us, and we're planning that so that we can drill more, especially if we hit something and really start to figure something out. That these stack structures, it's good news and bad news, right? I mean, the good news is we're seeing so many more structures. Well, I guess it's good news and good news.
It's like there's no bad.
It gives us so many more targets. So now all of a sudden, and we're not seeing the high grade, but I mean these hanging wall structures that are stacked together. Ends up that's actually what they mined a lot there. We didn't realize that until we got all the data input. And up at Laurentian, the highest producing mine was actually on this hanging wall structure where we hit down at Jubilee that very high grade hit of 300 grams over almost 4 meters. So it's just stay tuned, and we are going to have drill results coming out just consistently. And, then, as I said before, very excited to see the channel sampling and the mapping program that just continues to outline more and more target areas like Mud Lake.
Yeah, I think it's key that we constantly have catalysts. And for us, I mean, a lot of companies talk about catalysts in their years out, but for us, we'll have answers to what we, set out to do in 2025 this fall. So we set out to test some of our regional targets like Sheridan and Hinman. We'll have a good idea whether they're go forward, whether they make sense just from the programs we did this summer. Testing Mud Lake, we'll know if we can really expand Gold Rock beyond its current footprint with that test. So what's nice about Dryden is we have lots of catalysts and short timelines on these things, so people can see progress being made in short order. It doesn't take years from now. We'll continue to be that dynamic.
One thing I wanted to just kind of make a quick comment on is what Trey had brought up about, it looks like that you're you're attracting the younger generation into a company like Dryden, and that's always been a struggle from what we've understood for a lot of exploration companies because of the narrative mining has had, just getting a workforce that would go up north to remote areas. It sounds like you guys are sort of on a precipice of sort of shifting that. And I think that's really interesting for us as the retail investors. So for a retail investor who might be new to Dryden's gold mine opportunity, might be considering becoming a shareholder, staking their claim, how would you pan out the investment thesis today compared to, say, 6 months ago? And what makes this story pure gold?
Well, look, from a stock price standpoint, and we have raised money, so we have a few more shares outstanding. But, we came public January of 2024 at 15 cents. Stock today is around 20 cents with $10 million in the bank for exploration, total $30 million market cap. And we're in a position now where if you like this story, we're probably as good at marketing as anybody. We will be telling this story more and more. We do have a prestigious list of shareholders already, institutions and high net worth people. And if you want to own the stock, don't be waiting for a financing with a warrant. We didn't point out, did we, that we did this financing 7.8 million at the market, no discount on the price. A lot of it was flow through, so it was premium, 24 cents on the flow through, 28.5 cents on the charity, and no warrant. So, that speaks volumes. But if you like the story, anybody who does like the story is going to have to buy it in the open market. And we've got so much news that'll be coming out, so much drilling, so much progress, and such an exciting piece of property that, the only way you can own it now over the next 6 to 12 months is buying it in the open market.
That makes sense. And of course, you're at that point in the curve where the movement in the stock could be very exciting as you bring out results going through the rest of this year.
We have a lot of catalysts up against us very shortly to kind of show whether these things make sense and continue the growth path that we're on. I mean, we're true explorers, really showing how much we actually have here. So it's an exciting time to be following the story.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks today for digging in with us, Trey and Maura. But before we strike out, what can retail investors mine up for the most up-to-date information on Dryden's gold in progress?
Oh yeah, follow us on all the social media platforms. We're always posting on LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. No, it's called X now, but all of those places, we're always getting the story out. I put out videos often trying to explain. So send us questions that you have and we'll make sure to answer them. We're always out telling the story. We've got new results coming. So follow us on our website too.
Well, we got a fan badge on Facebook on your Facebook page.
Excellent.
I encourage people to stay, to be checking out the website because Maura is very good about doing her little spot videos. So when we have a press release, she almost always will do a short video that explains, what it really means, and she does a great job of it. And I think that's, you can really gain a lot more insight into those drill results. Don't just listen to what the naysayers are saying on the message boards and stuff. Go to the website, listen to the videos and watch, of course, these type of interviews and do your own due diligence.
Calling all savvy investors in mining and resources. Seeking the inside track on Dryden Gold? Look no further than minestockers.com for cutting-edge knowledge and real-time stock updates. Visit for the insights and stay for the gains. Seize the opportunity and explore the magic at minestockers.com. Uncover new investment possibilities today. Don't forget to hit the bell below to subscribe and then like and share this video. Let's get the word out there.